Hey, how you doing? Welcome to Spring Piston Rifle Fever. If you've never subscribed to my channel, I'd highly appreciate it if you would subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hit the hype bar. That's for new videos. It helps my algorithm for little channels, and I'm a little channel, so I can use all the help out there that I can get. So I still am getting questions all the time. I'm thinking about getting a Weihrauch. Should I get the HW80, the HW95, or the HW50? And I have one more surprise one that I want to talk to you about. And I always get questions like, what is the loudest, or which one is the most accurate? Which one is the quietest? And some people want to know which is the most powerful. So I'm going to go from the biggest to smallest. This is my HW80. It is a big rifle. It is very accurate and very powerful. The only thing I don't like about this rifle is, and some stuff under the sight there, is there's no fore-end checkering. And if I was to get another one, I'd want a shorter barrel, one of the carbine versions. This packs a punch. It usually produces around 19-20 foot-pounds of energy. I guess they can be tuned up to get even more energy with like a heavy top hat, heavy spring, things like that, which might sound good, but it might not shoot so smoothly. So I'll let you listen to this once. It packs a wallop. I'll shoot it a few times. I was actually going to do a disassembly video with this, but it got excessively long, and I decided no. If you watch my HW35 disassembly video, it's almost the same. The only difference is this has a cocking shoe and a single cocking linkage like the HW95. That's the only difference. So you can watch both those videos, fast forward it through if you want to hear what you want to hear. We'll put this muzzle here so you can hear it as best as can be. So I did put the heavy tar in this, spring tar, and it's like blackjack. It's not that heavy red grease that you can get at Walmart. Nothing like that. It's not the heavy boat grease, marine grease that you put on a trailer. It's not that. Those don't work. They will break down. They don't stop the twang or anything like that. This stops the twang pretty well. I'm going to aim at this mud puddle. So this stops the twang pretty decently. I removed the shim that I had in the piston guide to make it tighter for the spring. You would probably be best off if you got yourself a tune kit. Have a proper fitting spring guide and a top hat with this, but it's still very accurate. And so I'll hold up my HW95 next here. So the 80, it's really hard to show here. The 80 is considerably longer. With this one, I went through this, and I did use a little heavy tar in this, but not on the spring guide, because I ordered a Hornet spring from Air Rifle Headquarters, and it was so tight to get on the guide, it was almost impossible. I had to use some Molly grease on the guide and on the spring, up inside the spring, to get it in there. I used no spring tar at all there, but up on the very front part of the spring where it makes contact with the piston, I put some there. So with this Hornet spring, it's producing a solid 18.5 foot-pounds of energy. We'll let you listen to that once. This is pretty quiet, and to me, there's no twang or anything. That spring just is grabbed right away. It's got a wallop. Some people get the tuned down version, a 12 foot-pound tune kit. If they're just going to shoot close range, or maybe 177. 177 is going to fly flatter than the 22 caliber. So a 12 foot-pound 177 in this would probably be a fun rifle. I'll shoot over here at the puddle. This is my favorite hunter right here. I think this is one of the most perfectly built air rifles ever made that I know of. I don't have them all, but this is one of the most perfect ones. We'll take one more shot. And we'll look at some accuracy too that I did. So, you know, before I even go any further, I'm going to tell you right now that you can't go wrong with one of these rifles. Let me try to get it in the camera a little bit, make a good screenshot. So there's that one. And then next, I'll show the HW50, because that was part of the questions today. Which should I get? Should I get the HW80, HW95, or the HW50? Which one is most accurate and the most quiet? In the comments, I said they're probably equally as noisy, but with a tune kit. And actually, the more powerful the Springer is, the louder it's going to be, because there's a lot more piston slam and stuff going on inside there. But one thing I like about the HW50 is it's a little shorter than the HW95. I'll hold that up again compared to this as best as I can. So I'm going to take a shot at my spinner. And this is an 11.5 foot-pound spring rifle. What do I like about this? I like that it's a little easier to handle because it's a little shorter. It has a very fast firing cycle because the compression tube isn't as long as the HW95 or the HW80. I did do a lube tune with the heavy tar in this, just a little bit on the spring guide and a little bit on the end of the mainspring where it goes up into the piston. So we'll shoot at the puddle over here. And even though it's doesn't have the super magnum power or maybe speed, the pellet gets down there very quickly. And this really sounds really smooth. I've went through this rifle before, and like I said, oh my goodness, I got a hair now. Only when I'm taking a video, only when I'm making a video will that happen. So I'm going to take a shot down here again. And you can hear that. Maybe I'll try one step closer to the camera. So also in here on the cocking linkage, I did modify. There's a plastic guide that's on the dowel ring inside here, inside the cocking lever, which helps prevent galling. But there's a little tiny spring that's under it that is very stout. And it was pushing so hard that on one of my friend's rifles, Anton, that it was causing galling with this piston. It was pulling the piston up into the compression tube, or pulling it this way, I should say. It was pulling it that way, so that made that extra tough. I'll hold up the 95 in comparison to this. So, I know this isn't going to show up that great, but the 95 and the 50, the 95 is just slightly bigger. I think the length of pole, oh my goodness, is the same. So people are saying, which should I get? Get. You know, one thing I know is if you get one, you're probably going to want another. It's just the way it is. So I'm going to show you another one that isn't asked about very much. And it is the most underrated spring piston air rifle in the United States of America, maybe even the world. And that is, can you guess it? Ta-da! The HW30. So I was reading a blog post about the HW25, and this guy said he had bought an HW80 and then he bought the HW25, and he said that HW25 was like a sweet, or it was like like a little piece of pumpkin pie. So I would say the HW30 compared to all the rest is like a little piece of pumpkin pie. This is extremely accurate. It's easy to cock. It's probably the most quiet. We'll aim over here at the puddle. I'll aim at my spinner first. Doesn't hit the spinner as hard. It's producing probably 7.5 foot-pounds of energy. And some people are going to say, mine's producing 8 or mine's producing 9. It really depends on the pellet. Pellet, temperature, elevation, all of that makes a difference. The kit you may have in your rifle, the spring you may have in your rifle, and newer springs usually are more stout and have more power. Eventually they all soften out a little bit and you lose a little bit of energy, but it really doesn't matter. These guns are not about absolute energy. They're about absolute fun. They're about plinking and target practicing, shooting cans, trying to make tiny little groups when you're shooting. They're a blast is what they are. So I did do a loop tune on this also. We'll do a mud puddle shot from here. Right in the mud puddle. It's always fun to do that, shoot at the mud puddle. Now I'll shoot up closer to the camera. How'd you like that? I like it a lot. I'm liking this rifle more and more all the time. And believe it or not, I was one of those, like you maybe, that when I started out, I didn't want a weak air rifle. I wanted something that was going to shoot in the high 800s, 900 feet per second with a heavier pellet. It had to shoot super fast. It had to cut through the wind. I was going to be accurate no matter what. I was going to tell the naysayers that, yeah, no matter what, I'm going to get good accuracy with my Super Magnum. After a while, all that stuff gets dialed back and it really doesn't matter. What really matters is fun, which to me is coming through good accuracy shooting on target. What should you get? I would suggest an HW30, personally. If you want something really fun and really accurate, the HW30 is a blast. So I'm going to show you some of my shot groups, and I'm just going to show you them. I did a redo on this one. I shot here, and then I shot again, trying to improve it. So there's a shot group. There's one, there's one, there's one. Can you guess which is which? All right. This was my first shot group, but I was shooting a smaller pellet, the 5.53 H&N Field Target Trophy out of the HW80. And it was kind of like this, kind of not good. And then I was shooting up here and I was improving it. Then I had a flyer come down here. I didn't like that. So I decided I was going to shoot 10 and I was going to improve it, make everything perfect. And the 10th one landed right there. But everything else is right there. You can see, I'll just use my pinky tip. You can see how tight the shot group is. Next up, HW95. Now, a lot of people say that tight fitting guides and stuff like that aren't important. I have seen a big improvement in accuracy out of my HW95 with a tight spring guide. And it's more powerful. It went from the low 17 foot-pound range to 18.5 foot-pounds of energy. So it's more stout, but look at that. Look how tiny that is. For real. That is super, super tiny. So next up, and some of this is going to be me. Some is going to be that I'm not using the exact right pellet, but these are still small shot groups. The majority of that is right there. And I did do an extra shot on that. And then I shot, this was HW50 if I didn't say that. And it can shoot better than this. Just like the HW95, it can do the exact same thing. 80, they all can do it. It's just a matter of the right pellet, right hold. Maybe a tune kit could even help settle down your rifle. It arrests everything in your rifle because your spring piston rifle has harmonics. And here's the HW30 here. Once again, I did 11 shots because this one went down here. So, but everything else went right here. As I was shooting, I had another flyer that was right out to the side, but you can see how tiny that shot group really is. It's actually a really good shot group. Um, I thought I would just do this vlog video for you and about which HW rifle to get. You know what? You get what you want to get. Eventually, you're going to find out. If you don't like carrying around stuff that's super heavy, but you want to hunt, I would say the HW95. If you think you want more power and you don't care that it's heavy, the HW80. If you just want something for in between shooting or drilling a bunny in your garden, maybe the HW50. It really doesn't matter. Price is going to matter because the more you go up in these rifles, the more you end up paying for them. But if I was restricted to one gun just for target practice, that'd be it right there. It wouldn't be the 80, the 95, or the HW50. Well, it's hard to say on the HW95. I really like the HW95. Really, really a lot. So, but this is sweet, and you can't go wrong with whatever HW rifle you think about. If you have not subscribed, I'd highly appreciate a subscribe, a like, ring the bell, hit the hype bar, and I also want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Let's celebrate that in America, and God bless every one of you.